I started my day by waking up, which is important. Then I took stock of my stock and made decisions like a real man. Now, folks, if you've ever said the phrase, I need to go and steal some food and crops from the village so I don't have to worry about hunting down wild animals for a while, you are either A. living in the dark ages, B. a homeless vegan, or C. a person playing Minecraft. I watched a pig, ate an apple, and then waved at a pig with an oak sapling like it was normal, and then I went on a mission. On the way, I got some sugar cane. Why not? As I got to the edge of the village, I could see my prize ahead of me. I laid waste to nature and stuffed my pockets with all the pre-bread I could. I saw a fat pair of melons too. I kind of felt bad for the villagers. As I was taking their livelihood from them, I could hear their disgruntled groans from inside their forcefully barricaded homes. I let my guard down a little, it got night, and during one particular harvesting sesh, I was attacked from behind. Ugh. I should have learnt from my mistakes, but while eyeing up some taters, I was attacked by this twerp who turned out to be a tactical genius because as I was looking at him, his two mates Jurassic Parked me out of nowhere. Clever girl. I respawned, panicked, fell into water, panicked some more. Then I got out the water, panicked even more, then legged it to get my stuff back again. I couldn't go through the main section of the village, so I had to go around trying to avoid aggro. I cut to the left, snuck into the village, located my stuff easily, mostly thanks to a glowing XP ball. The Alpha Raptor had my sword but was stuck in a puddle. I grabbed my stuff, but spying a sniper in the distance and remembering there were still two raptors unaccounted for, I opted for the safer option. Find a bed. Luckily I was near a door I'd not blocked up and kicked a villager out of bed so I could snooze and time travel until the morning. I grabbed some more wheat on the way back home, and then I went back home. This stuff writes itself. Back at base, I looked at the fruits of my questionable labour. I put the wheat and the seeds into the wheat and seeds box where I keep my wheat and seeds just in case I need wheat and seeds. I tried to keep organised. I also realised at this point I may not have picked up all my items after I died. Never mind. I popped half the taters in the oven and saved the rest for a future farm, then turned my attention to harvesting more wood. About 3 logs into my activity, I was attacked by identical twins that both met a grisly end by way of hatchet to the face. I finished my logging, and in an effort to stay alive longer, I decided now was the time to light my base up. Desperately needing more wood like your mum, I headed to the nearest savannah to cut down some acacia for logs I could turn into charcoal to make torches. It was getting dark and I didn't want to risk getting caught outside again, so I went home and wasn't surprised to see a few mobs in the vicinity. My heart raced. Could I jump into bed before I was attacked? Yes! I jumped into bed, summoned the sun and quickly reared up to watch the zombies fry in the sun like a vampire. Which didn't happen because this particular flavour of zombie is what's known as a husk, which means they don't die in sunlight. I totally forgot this and genuinely thought it was a game glitch and I had to Google it just to be sure. I swapped the logs and a few pieces of meat I flayed from the bodies of freshly murdered computer animals into the furnace, and I went to replace the sugarcane I lost earlier. I didn't have to go too far because there was some to the northwest downriver. I got what I needed, and when I turned around I was pleasantly surprised by a desert village upon the horizon. In relation to my base, it'd be north and slightly east, just behind the sand dunes in the distance of this picture, just in case you were wondering. Near my base I watched the sunset, then got annoyed by a mound of sand I felt was messing with the aesthetics of the floor, so I flattened it. I popped the sand into the furnace to make glass, and as you'll find out later at some point, I love glass in Minecraft. I have no dedicated area to grow the sugar yet, so I planted the cane around the edge of the river I was standing closest to save energy. And then I was presented with an opportunity I could not pass up. 2 cows had wandered into my base, and even though I had some food that had lasted me a while, I thought that grabbing these 2 now would pay dividends later for future Rodney. I grabbed planks and sticks from my wood chest and knocked up a holding pen quickly. I got wheat from my wheat and seeds chest where I keep my wheat and seeds for the times that I need wheat and or seeds, and lured one cow into the pen with no hassle. The second cow was located and also lured into its new home. Apparently I had captured some alien creatures posing as cows because they started to merge into each other, so before they could reach the final form I managed to separate them long enough to force them to mate. A baby was produced. Getting back on the not dying as much mission, I used my impressive knowledge of esoteric alchemy to combine sticks and charcoal together to make torches. This is an aerial shot of my base in the day. This is an aerial shot of my base at night. I pretended I had ADHD and torch spanned the area in the least efficient manner I could. Seriously, I could have had the same results using half the amount of torches placed methodically, but it's my game and I'll do what I want. After a few minutes of chaos, this is the aerial shot of my base lit up. Much better. I finished lighting stuff up and noticed that the baby cow was now an adult, so I decided to add another to the mix. I went to the wheat and seed chest where I keep the wheat and seeds for the times that I need wheat and or seeds, and got some wheat. As I got the cows frisky with dead brown foliage, my scientific mind was glad that genetic diversity isn't a thing in Minecraft, and thank Jesus that it isn't, because my cows would defo have some insanely complicated family trees and extra chromosomes by the time they hit the abattoir. Digital animal husbandry in an asexual environment has a lot of advantages. Good job, Mojang. I expanded my sugarcane efforts downriver, then caught the itch for adventure. Using the last of my iron, I made 2 iron pickaxes and grabbed some essentials for a mission underground. I went back to the cave entrance from the last episode, and once there I was swept up in my emotions like a Vietnam vet with PTSD having flashbacks, so I deviated from the plan slightly by trying to attempt to find a new way to enter the depths of the overworld. I found this place a few blocks over and decided to try my luck down there instead. I cautiously descended, and it wasn't long at all before this zombie appeared. Then, after rounding the first corner, I was greeted by this fellow who promptly got Rambo'd from a safe distance. A little bit deeper into the cave, I saw a torch and realised this was the ambush cave. Oh no! You could even see where I blocked up a section to stop sneak attacks, and we all know how that went. I had to be cautious. Tip time! I have a not so foolproof system for when first entering or wandering around unfamiliar dark cave systems. I place torches on the left side walls like this, so I know if I get lost and the torches are to my right, then I know it's the right way out. You get me? I place torches on the floor to signify a level change, stairs or a room or something of significance. Simply put, a torch on the floor means something, however vague that is. It's not a system without its flaws, but it really shaves off time and unwanted panicking. Thanks for listening. Back to the show. As I wasn't that deep underground, I mined some cobblestone and quickly blocked the mouth of the cave I arrived through just in case. Realising I had basically dug out enough room for a camp, I set up a temporary spot right here to sleep and store stuff while I played geologist. I rinsed the area around the camp for any ores and a bit more cobblestone so I could connect this temporary setup to the ambush cave. I now had 2 exits to escape from if poo hit the fan. At the temporary base I ought to give a name to avoid confusion, there was a classic 3-choice conundrum. Left tunnel, middle tunnel, right tunnel. I picked the middle tunnel. Just before the tunnel led to the right, there was some copper that I started to collect, which led to a gravel cave-in, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been, so cool. Turning the corner, I was faced with diorite. Oh no! Diorite has the stigma of being Minecraft's equivalent of the weird, unloved middle child whom no one will ever play with that also happens to be ginger. But I would like to announce I finally found a use for it. Top tip time! In the Nether, Minecraft's inhospitable hellish dimension, the colour palette is very limited. Diorite, being white and not a colour that you naturally see in the Nether, sticks out like a sore thumb. I use diorite to leave route markers at various points so I have a rough idea where I've been. Another trick is to use a few blocks of diorite and make them point in a direction that would give you a reference to a way out or a safe spot to chill. This also works with sandstone and bone blocks, but as diorite is quote unquote useless and abundant, I'd recommend having a few stacks of it when traversing the Nether's strange terrain. Thanks for listening, back to the show. I mined out a hefty chunk of diorite and continued down the cave, grabbing some coal that was next to a new block that I still can't be bothered to Google the name of. Then I came to a dead end. I trotted back to camp and did some housekeeping, putting the coal in the furnace, making torches for my next run, etc. The left cave was next to explore, and that turned out to be a good choice. I got here and I could go up to the left or down to the right. The left route had some ores, and here I heard the sound of a baby zombie and I weed myself a little bit. I waited for the attack, which didn't come. It was a nerve-wracking 2 minutes. Eventually this route led outside, so I blocked it up. Although I probably should have at least done my best meerkat impression and took a quick look about just to know where I was in relation to my main base above world, but yeah, there you go, I didn't think at the time. Retracing my steps and going down the right tunnel that was in the original left tunnel, try to keep up people, I found more coal, a block I can't be bothered to Google the name of, and this open space. I could hear an Enderman teleporting close to me. I was determined to get a photo with the interdimensional Mardibun, but as you can't look at him in the eye without hurting the feelings, it was kinda hard. But I did manage to capture this. Good enough. Not wanting to push my luck again, I started my way back to camp. What is this? Okay, I'll buy. Oh, so that's what it's called.